your dreams.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Honkai Star Rail video, and today we're just going to be going over, does Erudtion need a buff? By the way, if you haven't liked the content, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. So does Erudtion need a buff? Before I explain how I feel, I want to know what the fuck Erudtion means, because I've never heard of that word before in my life. The definition of Erudtion is the quality of having or showing great knowledge or learning. Scholarship. Okay, that makes sense. Anyways, the reason why I'm asking does Erudtion need a buff is because Erudtion seems to be kind of out of place right now. We got characters like Kafka, Blade, and Clara, which do AoE damage even though they're outside of Erudtion. So if we have characters outside of Erudtion doing AoE, what the fuck is the point of Erudtion then? I think HoYoverse just wanted a magical AoE class that badly, and Erudtion was basically the closest thing that they can come up with. Another reason why there are quite a few characters that do AoE even though they're not Erudtion is maybe because 98% of this game is basically you farming mobs, and I think HoYoverse just wanted to give players like other options for AoE even though Erudtion is in the game. You do get two free Erudtion characters, both of them being Herda and Serval. Maybe you just don't want to level them up, maybe you want other options for AoE. But if they were just going to give more options for AoE to begin with, then what is the point of Erudtion? I think Erudtion does have a point, but it also doesn't have a point, and let me explain. If Erudtion was not in the game, then what would Herda, Serval, and Jinghuan even be? These paths serve more than just, classes for the game. They do serve an important part of the story, and since there is the path of Erudtion, I assume that the Eon of it will serve some role in the story. So if Erudtion wasn't in the game, I guess the plot of the game would probably change a little bit, or even a lot, because we still don't really know what the Eon of Erudtion will do in the story yet. So HoYoverse wanted an AoE magical-like class, and they also wanted an Eon that symbolizes knowledge, and I guess Erudtion just fits the bill. So that's why I think Erudtion is in the game. Erudtion also doesn't really serve much of a purpose because, like I said, there are other characters that deal AoE even though they're outside of the class. So Erudtion is kind of like in that weird spot. This is kind of reminding me of the rock type in Pokemon. There's really no point in having a rock type when ground exists. Not to mention, like 80% of the Pokemon are rock and ground types. Rock types serve really no purpose. I mean, they're super effective against flying and fire, but you can find rocks on the ground. So why are rock and ground two different types? Game Freak should just combine them both together and just make the earth type. This has been driving me crazy for almost 20 years now. So Erudtion is kind of like in that weird spot. There's really no point in it, but yet they kind of do serve a purpose. Do I think Erudtion needs a buff? I wouldn't say no to a buff. The game is still pretty early on its stages, so later down the line we might get Harmony characters that buff Erudtion, or maybe even like a new Erudtion character that's just super OP. There could be a new relic set that could help Erudtion characters, although that might also help other AoE characters as well. I do think Erudtion characters are in a good spot. Maybe in MOC they're not as good, but MOC is really not that important. MOC only takes like 2% of its game. As I stated earlier, 98% of the game is basically you farming mobs of enemies. Also, MOC will just cater to whoever's on rate up, so if Jinghuan or some other new 5-star Erudtion character gets a rate up, then the MOC is basically going to cater to them. So in my opinion, I think Erudtion is in an okay spot. Erudtion isn't the only class that kind of gets overlooked. I think Abundance kind of gets overlooked as well. If you have a good preservation character built, you kind of don't really need Abundance characters, especially if you have Japard built. If you have Japard built, you basically don't need another Abundance character. But does that mean should HoYoverse buff Abundance? I mean, that's kind of impossible since Abundance are just heal sluts. And I'm not saying Abundance characters are bad, but if you have a preservation character built, you kind of don't really need one. Anyways, that's going to be the end of this video. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Erudtion needs a buff? Yes, no, neutral? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys later.